Foley. He was an Army veteran, a U.S. citizen from Texas, and the FBI says he is the man who drove a pickup truck into a crowd of New Year's revelers in New Orleans, killing 15 people before being shot dead by police. The AP's Sagar Magani on what President Biden's revealing about him.
President Biden is mourning those killed by an Islamic State-inspired driver who steered into a New Orleans New Year's celebration.
I grieve with you.
The suspect, Shamsuddin Jabbar, an American citizen from Texas and an Army veteran.
Mere hours before the attack, he posted videos on social media indicating that he was inspired by ISIS, expressing a desire to kill.
It was the deadliest IS-inspired assault on U.S. soil in years.
Bodies all up and down the street.
Zion Parsons' friend was among those killed in the French Quarter.
This is evil.
New Orleans Police Superintendent Ann Kirkpatrick. There was an improvised explosive device in his truck, and others were found in the French Quarter.
An investigation's underway into that Tesla Cybertruck explosion outside President-elect Trump's Las Vegas hotel early Wednesday. Was it terrorism? A suspect inside the vehicle was killed. This visitor to Las Vegas, Anna Bruce, says she saw 3 explosions.
First one, where we saw the fire. The second one was, I guess, the battery or something like that. And the third one was the big explosion.
Today at the White House, President Biden will give a high civilian award to the leaders of the January 6th congressional panel, Liz Cheney and Benny Thompson. Donald Trump has said they should be jailed. The best time to be on the road today for those returning home from their holiday? Before 3 p.m., says Inrix, the data provider. This is AP News. Now to the skies.
Astronomers are gearing up for more planetary marvels in 2025, but warning they won't eclipse last April's total solar eclipse. Millions of people traveled to the best viewing spots in the country, like Mesquite, Texas last spring, to watch the sun totally disappear behind the moon.
It was awe-inspiring.
This year, there will be 2 lunar eclipses. On March 14th, the moon will vanish for about an hour over North and South America, and then just 2 weeks later, a partial solar eclipse. The cosmos is promising plenty of other wow moments in 2025. A 6-planet parade takes shape later this month, lining up in the sky to form a long arc. And there will be 3 supermoons lighting up the sky in October, November, and December. I'm Jackie Quinn.
And I'm Rita Foley, AP News.
This is 8:20 a.m. WCPT Willow Springs and streaming worldwide at WCPT820.com. We are Chicago's progressive talk, where facts matter. Now, your WCPT 820 weather update.
From the Weatherology Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki. We'll see a few scattered snow showers possible late today, otherwise cloudy skies, a high in the low 30s. Winds out of the west around 5 to 15 miles per hour. Then for tonight, a chance for some snow early, decreasing clouds, a low near 18. Friday, mostly sunny, windy, high of 24 degrees, and Saturday, sunshine, high of 22. Sunday, a chance for some snow late, cloudy, high of 25 degrees. That's your latest Chicago weather update.
Currently, it's 27. Every 40 seconds, a child is reported missing. Find the Children is a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping find missing kids. You can be a part of their mission by donating your unwanted car. Call 1-800-775-5622. You'll receive the maximum tax deduction, and we provide fast, free pickup. Call 1-800-775-5622. Donate your unwanted or unused car. Call 1-800-775-5622. This advertisement was paid for by Cars R Us and Find the Children.
You're listening to WCPT 820, because facts matter.
Welcome to Choose Views with Richard Chew.
Get ready to dive into a world of insightful conversations and thought-provoking discussions.
As progressives, our job is to have an all-inclusive, full-on assault with all of our players.
A show that will focus on moving our political, social, economic, gender, and cultural conversation forward.
And all of our players means all of our players.
It's Choose Views. And now, here's your host, Richard Chew.
Good Thursday morning, progressives, and welcome to the January 2nd, 2025 edition of Choose Views. I got that right, Henry. I didn't say 2024. I got it right.
773-763-9278. Looking forward to your calls and looking forward to your texts to us this morning. Facebook Live, TuneIn Radio, YouTube, Twitter Stream, and iHeart Radio is where you can find us. Email me at richard@wcpt820.com. You can catch all of our shows there by subscribing to our WCPT podcast on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify. There you can get the choose views, short and long versions, as we say. Joan Esposito, live, local, and progressive. Driving It Home with Patty Vasquez. The Big Picture with Edwin Eisendrath. Out Chicago, and our other shows and interviews. And most definitely make your way over to the share spot. The good stuff to share, also known as heartlandsignal.com, our digital platform. So, guys, great to be with you this morning. And yes, I got it right. January 2nd, 2025. I didn't say 2024. This is obviously my first live broadcast in the new year, and happy to be here with you guys, most definitely. We'll talk about New Year's stuff today. We've got obviously items to cover that we normally cover, and categories, I should say, and then things that have happened in the last 24 to 48 hours since we were on last. Hope you got a chance to check out the broadcast yesterday, which was our holiday best of broadcast. And I'm going to kind of walk you through a little bit of that later in the show. But we want to hear from you today, hear how your New Year's celebration was, what you did on New Year's evening, what you did on New Year's Day, anything interesting and fun and different. Love to hear of that. My wife and I just took it easy, which was kind of cool. Didn't make a big crazy stink about anything. We were home safely as the new year rang itself in, and that was kind of cool. So I know lots of people are of that mindset. They're like, you know what? We're going to stay in this year, and then some folks get out and about. And if you're here in Chicago, I will tell you, because of course we saw this on television, didn't go, but it was pretty spectacular down on the river, Navy Pier, North Michigan Avenue, and what a wonderful celebration. I had a chance I may have said this on Tuesday, but Monday I went to the Apple store, and I was getting some things done on my iPad, and I met this family, Henry, a father and his son and daughter, teenage son and daughter, who were from Sao Paulo, Brazil. And they've been, on vacation and stuff. And they were talking about some things that they had done. They got here the day after Christmas. But here's the thing, the short version of it. A great family. It was great seeing this family from another country here in Chicago enjoying themselves. And the father said to me that Chicago, of the places that they've traveled in the United States, that Chicago has turned out to be their favorite place. It's just the people getting around, the food, and we fortunately had reason. We didn't have the snowy weather, but we had weather that allowed them to get out and about and do stuff. And so while we were sitting there talking, I told them, okay, so tomorrow night, meaning New Year's Eve, to make sure, because they were staying downtown, that they made their way to the river so they could see the spectacular show that we would have. And it turned out to be just that, from all the things that I saw that were posted on social media, and then, of course, were on the broadcast. So kudos to the city of Chicago for having the planning in place to do that. I know that the wind was a little bit up, and there was some concern about having fireworks during that kind of wind, gust of wind and all that, but we were able to put it together and pull it off. So thanks to the city of Chicago and the Mayor Johnson's administration, special events, and also to the businesses that are part of an event like that. It takes a collective of people to put together those types of events and do it successfully. And so as part of my conversation today, and of course we're going to talk a little bit about the events that took place this past couple of days, but as part of my conversation today, one of the things that I want to really just say loudly and proudly is that we here in Chicago, we get it done. I've said this so many times, and I will not apologize for being a fan of the city that I live in and love. We get it done. Imperfect as we all are, individually and in our groups and organizations and our families and all the rest, our city of Chicago gets it done. And what I want to ask of the people who live in the city of Chicago, and then in a broader sense, I talked about this the other day in terms of your number one thing you're going to pray, hope for, cross your fingers for, do a dance for, whatever in 2025. I have a few things, but I will say this. I want to, my request for those who are City of Chicago residents, City of Chicago and area folks, is to find a way to come together with someone or something or some entity that maybe you've been disconnected from. And then the New Year's celebration was an example in my mind of that. Big blue city. We know that this national election didn't turn out the way that we wanted it to, and the way that many people here in the city and the surrounding area and the region voted for, because this is a blue part of the country. Didn't turn out that way. And of course, there's folks here that voted red or voted for the 34 times convicted felon. I don't know why you did that, but I know why you did that. That being said, this is a big blue city, and we're going to remain big blue and strong. And so I want to put out to you guys that are here in the city and here in the area, kind of a clarion call to say, look, y'all, we have an opportunity here. We have an opportunity to get behind our political leaders, elected officials, and our business leaders who have their heads on the right way to continue to make our city do great things like we did for our New Year's celebration. We have that opportunity. And the way in which we thread that needle is by understanding that our long-term goal is to continue to have the city get the kinds of recognition from a magazine like Condé Nast that speaks to, in 8 consecutive years, the wonderfulness of the city of Chicago, which includes the region. I will say that in all fairness. But at its core, this is the city of Chicago. And to have an encounter like I did with this family from Sao Paulo, Brazil, that loved being here, we want that to continue to be who we are. And we want that to be sort of our representative badge. A great place to come, a great place to live. I see so many different posts, and I get so many notifications on social media that always keeps a big smile on my face, and tells me that there are people that are in our city that love our city. There are people that are in our region that love our region. And anybody can poke fun and say nasty things and say, well, but what about this? I could do that. I could sit down with the person for an hour and they could tell me all kinds of wonderful things about themselves. And I could poke, well, what about this? What about that? That are their, quote, imperfections, because that's part of being human and then living in a community of communities where we have imperfections. But the job is not to continue to, as I say, what's our fix? How do we go forward? It's how do we pick up and say, what's going to make things better? So in Chicago, that's what my request of Chicagoans is how do we pick up and make things better? Okay. And if it means pushing Mayor Johnson and the administration here, then we do that. If it means pushing our county officials, if it means pushing city council and our county officials and the regional officials, then that's what we do. If it means pushing our governor and lieutenant governor, then that's what we do. But we don't get to sit back and whine and complain. We get to look at the city and say, what do we do to make it better? That's our responsibility. Now, I'm going to broaden that and say this before we go to the first break. That's what progressive liberal Democrats have to do in each and every city and community in the country, is ask yourself, what is it that we can do, must do to make our city, our community better? Okay, because this is what I promise you will happen. And I'm talking about wherever you are listening to this show in the country, whatever community you are in, your responsibility, your obligation to your community is to ask, what is it that we can do to make our community better? And how can I lean into that to help make our community better? I know that, listen, there's something that you can do. It might be a small, relatively speaking, small thing, but incremental small becomes large with repeated action. My father used to say all the time, you drop water on a rock long enough, that water will dissolve that rock. Okay? Now, takes vision, takes creativity, takes some persistence and all the rest. And that's where we have to be as progressive liberal Democrats in the country. We have to be willing to look in our community and say, what is it that needs to be done? What can I do to affect that? Who do I need to talk to make those things happen, et cetera? Who do I partner with? The small businesses in the community to help make those things better. That's taking action, as I've said before. If you can take action, you don't have a problem. Now, if we take that mindset, if we have that mindset and that perspective as progressive liberal Democrats, this is what it's going to do. It's going to allow us to continue to galvanize and not be torn apart by the craziness on the right that's coming on a local level, regional, and national level. There's people that are right-thinking politicians and individuals in the city of Chicago that, unless they're willing to participate in making the city better, then I don't have any time for them. They're going to sit around and whine and moan and complain about the price of things. I have no time for them. And I hope that you guys can take a similar perspective when it comes to getting things done in your community, wherever you are in the country. If you're in Texas, Florida, Maine, California, Oregon, wherever of our 50 states, do not tolerate people not wanting to move things forward. Push them aside. They don't get to be part of your world, not a central part of your world, if they're not ready to take things, grab a hold of things and move things forward. That being said, this is that moment now that we are, into the new year that we have said we knew was coming. And now our opportunity is to take that moment and say to the right, whether it be a local right politician or person that you know, or business person that you know, or regional, national person that's elected, or in whatever category of business, this is your time. This is your moment to say, you are not going to steal my joy and my belief that we can make the country that we want it to be. And I don't mean the quote unquote, make America great again philosophy. I'm talking about great country making itself even better. That's different than make America great again. Because make America great again has, as we all know, tones of racism, sexism, misogyny, and nationalism. And none of us who are thinking about moving the country forward